Hey, how's it going? This is Taylor with Body Temple System, Training, Nutrition, and Mental Breakthrough. What we want to talk about is, do calories matter, right? The calorie counting conundrum. Some people say they do matter, some people say they don't. Well, what I want to explain is basically yes and no. They matter, but they also don't matter. And like I've explained before, the biggest thing is even just the thermic effect of food, right? There's a different amount of energy used to digest food based on the type of food it is. The greatest example would be a protein-dense food being steak. You eat 100 calories. Carbohydrate-dense food, pasta, you eat 100 calories, right? If everything were about calories, it wouldn't matter, right? Be like, well, I had 100 calories of this, or I had 100 calories of that. But protein-dense food, so the steak digests at 30%, okay, has a higher thermic effect. That means after you eat the 100 calories, it's really a net of 70. Whereas the pasta, being carbohydrate-dense, lower thermic effect, only 5%, is going to be 95 calories after you've eaten it. So really, it's not 100 versus 100, it's 70 versus 95. And that's why a lot of people can be like, well, I've been eating less food, or I'm in a calorie deficit and I'm not losing body fat. Well, that's because you maybe don't understand that fact that different foods have a different thermic effect, okay? But the big answer, yes, they do matter. If you look at research, literature, anecdotal evidence, you do have to be in what's called an energy deficit, okay, a calorie deficit. You must expend more energy, more calories, than you consume, okay? If you're in an energy deficit, then you will lose weight and body fat. Now, the reason it's not, okay, it doesn't matter, is like I just explained, the different foods have a different thermic effect, okay? Protein dense, carb dense, fat dense. Also, different calories have a different hormonal response, right? Protein dense foods will typically have what's called a glucagon effect. So glucagon is the opposing hormone of insulin, right? Everyone knows about insulin. Insulin's not bad in itself. Insulin tells your body where to mobilize and utilize nutrients, okay? Glucagon is basically counteracting the response of insulin, still both coming from the pancreas. It's just one's coming from the alpha receptor cells and one's coming from beta cells. So, glucagon from protein, okay, whereas insulin comes from carbs, okay, and fats, pretty much almost no insulin or glucagon, but there's a different hormonal response. Even inside the subcategory of carbohydrates, there's a different insulin response, a different hormonal response from it, right? A high glycemic index carbohydrate, a good example would be pineapple juice, okay? High glycemic, which means there's gonna be a huge insulin spike in response because it turns into sugar so quickly. Whereas, a low glycemic index food, like a boiled potato, which is like 48 on the glycemic index scale, not gonna turn into sugar so fast, right? Or a vegetable that has a fat like coconut butter on it or something like that, that's gonna have a really low glycemic index. So even within carbs, there's a different insulin spike, more or less, depending on the type of carbohydrate that it is. And this matters because if you have excess body weight, right, and you have excess fat, then you've lost your insulin sensitivity, meaning your body's not using energy and nutrients in response to the insulin anymore because you've been eating so many carbs and getting so much insulin over time, your body's resistant, okay? It's called insulin resistance. So to regain sensitivity, we want to keep that insulin response down for a long time, which means managing your carbs, right? So even the type of carbs you choose is going to help bring that insulin sensitivity back so you can start losing body fat. If you were to just only count calories, you wouldn't be able to get to that solution, right? Because you're looking at the wrong types of calories, okay? So yes, everything does matter. And then lastly, gut and thyroid health, okay? What I mean here is it's not just the quantity of those calories, it's the quality, all right? Again, a great example could be fructose. Fructose is actually very toxic to the body, okay? And there's even studies where they showed, even on a calorie deficit, if fructose in high amounts is inside the diet, you still do not lose body fat, okay? And it's simply because fructose is just toxic to the body, okay? It causes bad gut health, and then it messes with your thyroid, okay? When we get into poor health, the gut's communicating with the brain, right? The brain's communicating with all of our glands in the endocrine system. So the thyroid gland, which actually regulates the metabolism, okay, that can get jacked up if your health is out of whack, okay? So your health gets out of whack from poor quality food and foods that your body just doesn't do well with, okay? So managing your overall internal health is important too, because the calories coming in won't matter if you don't have your health in order. So that's just a simple breakdown here of the calorie counting conundrum, okay? Do calories really matter? Yes and no. I hope this made sense. Please comment below if you have other questions. This is Taylor with BodyTempleSystem.com. Thank you very much.